A former Chicago police officer risked her life and her career to expose a massive criminal ring in her own department. Think about that for a second. Undercover narcotics officer, her name is Shannon Spalding, says fellow cops were planting drugs and extorting people living in a housing project. But despite her fear of retaliation, she and her partner reported them to their department and the FBI. Former judge, police officer, and host of CBS's Whistleblower series, Alex Ferrer, went to Chicago to talk to Spalding for the season 2 premiere.
It was a full-blown war every single day.
Soon after joining the Chicago Police Department in 1996, Shannon Spalding drew an assignment in one of the most violent neighborhoods in the city.
Please open the door.
It was like a movie set. It was shock and awe for me. It was just a completely different world.
To survive, Shannon leaned on veteran cops like Ronald Watts.
I thought he was battling crime, and he was doing it with finesse and grace.
In 2006, a decade after Shannon Spalding was trained by Watts, she had a new assignment in the narcotics division.
I was the undercover. I would go out. I would make the controlled narcotics purchases.
Her partner, Danny Echeverria, would swoop in and make arrests. But during police interviews, something strange started happening.
People would say, I can't believe you're going to arrest me when one of your own is actually running the narcotics trade.
Shannon learned Watts and his crew would plant drugs on residents of the Ida B. Wells projects and extort cash.
Even the good citizens that live there, that are law-abiding citizens, they're subjected to this. We heard he would put anything from a couple bags to enough to put you away for 10, 15, 20 years.
In 2006, Ida B. Wells resident Dolores Allen witnessed this practice firsthand when her son Zarek was pushed up against Watts' police car.
He goes in his pocket, brings out the drugs. If you guys, I catch y'all again, I'm gonna put these drugs on your ass. That's his exact words.
Dolores says Watts kept his word. Later that year, Zarek was arrested and charged with felony possession of heroin and crack cocaine. He was 17 years old. Dolores says the drugs were planted by Watts.
I just seen all these hopes and dreams and stuff it just went down the drain from there.
Shannon and her partner would eventually learn Watts' bad deeds had been going on for years.
If we don't report this criminal conduct, we're absolutely no better than Watts or any of these other corrupt officers. And if we do, we may just be ending our careers, putting ourselves in real danger.
So what did you and your partner decide to do?
I convinced him that we needed to go to the FBI. And my greatest fear was that because this was such a long-running criminal enterprise, I felt that we would be set up for dead.
Wow. Shannon Spalding and her partner spent years undercover investigating Ronald Watts and his team. With the help of that investigation, more than 60 people wrongfully arrested by Watts and his team were later exonerated. That includes the young man that you just met in the story, Zarek Johnson. Alex Ferrer joins us at the table to discuss. Good to see you, Alex. First, let's say
great to be back.
Thank you to Shannon Spalding, number one.
Amazing, amazing woman to come forward.
Did she get any backlash?
Oh.
A better question is, how much backlash did she get?
She lost her career. She had attempts on her life. It was just devastating. When you watch tonight's episode, the roller coaster of emotions from the people who were wrongfully convicted. Some of them did 10 years in prison for a crime they didn't commit. Yeah. And her coming forward against this code of silence. I'm a former police officer myself. No. You know, that doesn't happen in police departments across the country, but it does happen in some places, and obviously Chicago was one of them. I hope it's no longer like that.
What did happen to former Officer Watts?
Former Officer Watts was, in 2012, he and one of his officers were actually arrested when they ripped off a local drug courier. He got 22 months, just 22 months in prison for that. But neither he nor anybody else on his team has ever been charged with what happened to those, so far, 60 people who have been exonerated. And the number continues to grow. We'll never know how many.
Shannon, have any regrets?
Well, I'm sure she regrets losing her career, but she doesn't regret coming forward and doing the right thing.
Thank you, Alex. Always good to have you at the table.
Great to have you. We appreciate it.
We do, and you have one of the best voices, Alex Ferrer. I love listening to your tracks. You can watch the season 2 premiere of Whistleblower, Chicago PD, Breaking the Code of Silence. That's tonight at 8, 7 Central, right here on CBS.